Hey, golfers, it's time to tee it up with the Back Nine Boys Golf Show, brought to you by Bridgestone Golf. Play the ball that fits you. By Sea Palms Resort. Join today and improve your short game at the Miracle Practice Facility. By Club Car, the global leader in golf utility and fun personal vehicles. By Mizoon Golf, reach beyond. And by RSM, proud sponsor of the RSM Classic, giving back right here in our communities. Today, we're going to talk about the Georgia State Golf Association with Executive Director Matt Vanderpool. Matt will talk about how the juniors can play for $5 and how some of his staff will play 100 holes next week to raise money to support that effort. Then we'll talk with putting guru Mike Shannon on the Tour Performance Center at TPC Sawgrass about the new program. Are you ready for this? That with seven putts, sometimes we do that on one green, that can tell you which putter is best for you. And then finally, we'll talk with head pro Matt Messinger of the Savannah Golf Club about all the history, which is the first golf club in the United States dating back to 1794. You heard me right, 1794. But first up is GSGA Executive Director Matt Vanderpool. Good morning, Matt, and welcome to the Back Nine Boys Golf Show.
Hey, good morning, Rich. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. Tell us about some of the folks that play golf in Georgia may not know, but tell us a little bit more about the Georgia State Golf Association.
Yeah, so the Georgia State Golf Association is categorized as the official allied golf association for the United States Golf Association here in Georgia. So really our reason for existence, if you will, is to promote and protect the game here in Georgia, delivering a lot of the governance functions that the USGA has. So, overseeing and administering the handicap service here in Georgia, going out and rating all of the golf courses. So if you're familiar with seeing the course handicap and slope rating out there, we have volunteer teams that go across the state to rate the golf courses to come up with those figures. But we also oversee 23 state championships. We have a junior tour with 1,300 kids that play in over 100 events throughout the year. So really, we're all about generating opportunities for people to play more golf. And that's really what we're all about.
All right. You and I have talked a little bit this week, and I was very impressed with a couple of things. One is your Youth on Course program, where you help juniors play golf and at an incredible rate of $5. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, this is a national program that we signed on for in 2017, and we've really seen a very sharp trajectory on this since we launched the program. But really, the program is designed to tackle affordable access. You know, that's one of the main challenges to growing the game, especially at the junior level. So this is really our opportunity to get out there and provide affordable access to the game to juniors all across the state of Georgia. So juniors age 6 to 18 can play at around 40 different golf courses around the state and about 900 around the country through the Youth on Course program. They pay $5 to play golf. And for the courses here in Georgia, our association, the GSGA, subsidizes those facilities for the rest of the juniors' greens fees. So, so far to date in 2021, we've had over 1,500 juniors play roughly 7,000 subsidized rounds of golf, and the GSGA's provide about $60,000 subsidies to those facilities to help ensure that those young men and women have the opportunity to play golf.
And you say you have about 1,300 juniors that are in the program across the state?
About 1,500 have played a round so far this year.
That's incredible. And to support that, you and your staff, which I think is going to be an incredible feat, are going to play 100 holes. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we started that a few years ago. It's called the 100-hole hike, and several of our staff and some other generous supporters of the program are next Tuesday at Bobby Jones Golf Course in Atlanta are going to be attempting to walk and play 100 holes of golf. We've been fundraising within our personal networks for the last few weeks, and this is a tremendous fundraiser that enables us to provide those subsidies. Really, all of the funds that go to subsidize those rounds are generated through private donations. So we're hopeful to raise roughly $30,000 to $35,000 next Tuesday through that effort. And it's quite the undertaking, as you might imagine. Hopefully the weather will cooperate for us, but it's really a fun day for us to get out there and challenge ourselves to try and play 100 holes and know that the reason we're out there is so more kids can play more golf.
Now, are you doing it rain or shine, Matt?
I'll say yes, Rich. We'll see. I mean, you can only take so much rain, but yeah, we hopefully the forecast will be favorable for us. But we'll certainly play as much as we can, and certainly all the funds that are raised are going to a very good cause.
Is this something, Matt, that you think that you could do across the state of Georgia and get other people in other counties and cities to go ahead and on this same day play 100 holes at their course to help raise money?
Yeah, but potentially, Rich. We also have another fundraiser that we call the GSGA Golf Marathon. We did that back in August, where we had a concert on Saturday night, an event for our sponsors on Sunday, and then Monday we had several people at Druid Hills Golf Club playing as much golf as they could. They get to use a cart, so the number of folks that come out and support that initiative are a little bit higher than the 100-hole hike. But
right.
Yeah, I think this is certainly an opportunity that we're exploring. Both of these types of activities are really still in their infancy, and we're continuing to evaluate, really how we could potentially maybe, expand the offering across the state and get more people involved to raise more money. Again, kind of filtering back in to support our junior golf programs.
Yeah, I've done that a couple of times with a friend of mine up in North Carolina. He did 108 holes, 6 rounds, started when the sun came up, finished when the sun came down. It's a grueling day, but played some of my best golf because you got 6 rounds of golf to play, and you're not trying to force anything. You just kind of play like we should. Drive up, hit the ball, get the yardage, go on.
Yeah, it certainly eliminates all those external factors where
Yes.
you don't have time to think. You just got to get up there and hit it. And it's been funny watching the progress of this. A lot of us will start out carrying 3 or 4 clubs, and then by the time we're in our 3rd or 4th round, some of us just have a 7-iron, and we're going around just playing with the 7-iron, just to get it done. So,
Yeah,
like I said, it's a fun day. It's a great opportunity for our staff to get together and bond a little more, knowing that, again, we're raising money to kind of go back in and support our own program here.
Yeah, and speaking of raising money, GSGA is also going to host the inaugural Georgia putting contest. That's going to be something.
Yeah, absolutely. We're partnering with the Georgia PGA and Bobby Jones Golf Course, where our new office is located, to do this Georgia Putting Championship. Whether you're a 2 handicap or a 22 handicap, you have a great chance to be a wonderful putter. So, this is an interesting concept where, we're going to bring people in from all over the state and, try to find who the best putter in Georgia is. We've got 3 divisions. There's an open division, so amateur, professional, whomever. Then we've got a teams. The 2 players will play alternate shot, and then we have mixed teams, so male and a female playing alternate shot as well. It's October 30 and 31 at Bobby Jones Golf Course. And we think it's a really cool concept. And again, kind of to your point earlier, I think this is something that we hope to be able to expand statewide, potentially have statewide qualifying to get people into the finals.
Now, do you have a section for people with most putts on a certain hole?
We don't this year, Rich, but that's a good idea. We'll look to maybe incorporate that next year. I heard you were talking about 7 putts on one green earlier.
Yep.
So maybe we'll see if there's a different format we can implement into the contest in the future.
Yeah. That would not be one you would like to win, I'm sure. But anyway, Absolutely. All right, Matt. In November, you've got a big event coming up with the Hall of Fame. Tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the GSGA is responsible for managing the Georgia Golf Hall of Fame, and we're excited to finally induct our class of 2020. We tried to induct them last March, but as we all know, we were prevented from having that function take place. So we're excited. November 19th at the Atlanta Athletic Club, we'll be having this year's Georgia Golf Hall of Fame induction ceremony, where David Knoll Jr., Brenda Pichter, Mike Waldron, and Tim Weinhart will be enshrined into the Georgia Golf Hall of Fame. Tickets are available to the general public. They can go onto our website, gsga.org, to purchase tickets and come see those 4 inductees, enter into the Georgia Golf Hall of Fame, and be a part of a wonderful night celebrating the game here in the state of Georgia.
Yeah, very cool for them and also for y'all. Give us your website, Matt.
Yeah, again, our website is gsga.org, and you can pretty much find all the information. It's a resource center for golf in Georgia. So whether you want to play in one of our championships, explore our junior offerings, join the GSGA, you can find it all on our website, gsga.org.
Matt, thanks for your time. We're going to do this on the first Saturday of every month. I enjoy it. Good luck on Tuesday. And I hope it doesn't rain.
I appreciate it, Rich. Look forward to reporting back next month on how it went.
All right. I'd like to know how many holes you got in. Thanks, Matt.
Absolutely. Thanks, Rich.
Matt Vanderpool, the executive director of the Georgia State Golf Association. They're going to play 100 holes to support youth on course. Next up on the show, we're going to talk with putting guru Mike Shannon about how their Turf Performance Center down at TPC Sawgrass in 7 putts, which sometimes you do on one green, I hope not, but sometimes with 7 putts can find out which putter is best for you. And we'll be back. But first, we got to talk about what is best for deep dish pizza. It is CJ's Italian Restaurant. Check out their full menu at cjsitalianrestaurant.com. Graham and Ada and their tremendous staff do a great job, not only with deep dish, thin crust, cauliflower crust, just great pizzas. Just call up, and they've got a special place parked out front where you can call in your order, pick it up, and they just do great with calzones, with pizzas, with appetizers, salads. Scratch every morning is how they start with their pizza doughs and breads and sauces and dressings. Everything is homemade, and it's just tremendous. So check out CJ's Italian Restaurant at cjsitalianrestaurant.com. And welcome back. I'm Rich Stiles. Our next guest is not only a putting guru, but also a good friend, Mike Shannon. Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Rich, how are you? It's been a while.
It has been. It's been way, way too long. And Mike,
Times have been a little tough, but we're back at it.
well, I'm glad. And you told me yesterday, which I was floored with this, that you've got a program at TPC at the Performance Center there that within 7 putts you can tell what kind of a putter you are and maybe what kind of a putter you need to use.
Yeah, the program that we're using now takes into consideration the shape of the putting stroke, how much rotation the player is creating, how the tempo and rhythm are working. So what it does from there is it actually looks at how the putter is reacting to that player's putting stroke. So we've had a lot of our tour players down here. They'll bring in 6 or 7 putters.
Right.
And, the big comment they have is, which one of these are going to be the best for me?
Right.
And so we let them putt, and the program ranks them 1 to 7 or 1 to 6 or whatever it is. And then if there's a specific part of the putting stroke that they need to work on, such as aim at address or aim at impact or path, this also will rank it based on that point, that part of the putting stroke. So it's very comprehensive, and we are having a heck of a good time with it.
Oh, it sounds like a program that if you're really serious about trying to improve your game, that's the best part about improving your game is on the greens.
Yeah, and not only that, we also have a program that does the putter fitting based on the same criteria. And so what it is, a player will hit 7 putts, and it will come back and it will tell the player whether they need offset hosel or non-offset or onset, or whether they need face balance, 30-degree toe hang, 60-degree toe hang, 90-degree toe hang, what length they need, what size grip they need. It's really a neat deal.
Yeah, it just sounds like I've got the wrong putter right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've been teaching putting now for about 28 years.
Yeah.
And I've seen so many things come about in putting instruction. And right now we're just trying to stay up with it. It's so good.
Yeah. All right. Let me ask you this: sometimes when I go to the golf course, I'll really get serious about keeping my stats. Like how many greens did I hit, how many fairways did I miss, and all this other kind of make, and all this other kind of stuff. What is a good round as far as total number of putts in an 18-hole round?
Just to put it in the thumbnail, it's sub 30.
Sub 30. Okay. All right.
If you can have 30 or less, you're putting well.
Okay.
Now, sometimes, you run into a player who hits a lot of greens in regulation.
Right.
And when a player hits a lot of greens in regulation, their starting distance from the hole is greater than the starting distance of somebody that doesn't hit a lot of greens in regulation. And back when the tour just counted putts, somebody like a Joe Durant or a Heath Slocum who hit just a ton of greens, at the end of the week, their ranking would come out and they're 110th in putting or 115th. And they started to get the self-image that they're not a good putter.
Right.
So what we did, we changed up the way we measure their results, and we do it by the footage of the putt that goes into the hole. So let's say on the first green, we've got a 30-foot putt, and that player hits the putt up to about a foot. Well, when they tap that putt in, they've got 1 foot.
Okay.
The stipulation there is that any putt under a foot still counts a foot. We don't want to get into inches.
Right.
So if that player hits that 30-footer up 2 inches from the cup, when he taps it in, he's got a foot.
Okay.
Now, the other thing is that any putt made over 10 feet only counts 10 feet. So if he makes that 30-footer, so our number won't get skewed, he only gets 10 feet for it.
Oh.
So every player, or on every hole, there will be a number between 1 and 10.
Okay. Okay.
Now, where we draw the dividing point is at 50 feet. So if this player comes off the golf course with 45 feet of putts, we know that they didn't putt quite as well as they should have. If they come off the golf course with 55 feet of putts, they putted well.
Okay.
And,
Okay. Okay.
so let's just say that the average length of the putt that went in the hole was 3 feet. Well, we're all going to have a lot of 1-footers, which means
Hopefully.
that player had to make some 6 and 8-footers in
Right.
order to get that number up above 50.
Right. Okay. Okay. All right.
That's a good way to do it.
That
It's
is a good way.
way
That is a good way.
to measure your results.
Mike, in all the years that you've been working with the putting stroke and all the technology that's come out, what do you feel are a couple of the most common mistakes that people make when putting?
Without a doubt, number one, the putter is probably too short.
Okay.
And then 2, in their address position, players normally stand too tall.
Okay.
And that creates a position where the arms are too long. You start to see loops and figure 8s in the backswing. You start to see some distance control issues. And so, my job is to always get them tighter. Let's get them tighter. Tilt them over more, bring the arms into the body, maybe put a longer putter in their hands, because the tour players have such a tight putting stroke compared to the average amateur.
Right.
And that's all we're trying to do is just get them tight.
All right. So if someone is 5'8", but can you decide what size putter as far as inches they should be using?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. And there's a rule of thumb. The rule of thumb is if a player is 5 feet to 5'5",
Okay.
that's generally a 34-inch putter.
Okay.
If the player happens to be shorter than 5 feet, then we're looking at 33.
And what if they're taller than 5 feet?
From 5'6" to 6 feet, that'll be 35-inch, and then above 6 feet, a 36-inch.
I've definitely got the wrong putters. All of mine are 33.
That also depends on the stature of the player. If the player has long legs and a short torso, when they tilt over, they're still way up there. They might
Okay.
even go to 36 and a half, 37.
Okay.
Or if a player is very long-waisted, they might even need a shorter putter. So it really depends on that person.
And their putting posture.
Putting posture, that's exactly right.
Okay. Okay. All right. You work with, over your years, you've worked with a lot. You've designed putters, which I always thought when you showed them to me, the drawings and some of the specs that came out, that they look great. What brand of putters, with all the ones that are out there, would you suggest for some of our listeners to go look at?
I'll tell you what, Odyssey has such a deep line from blades to mallets. There's just a ton of different heads there that they're gonna have something in their line that's gonna fit every player.
Okay.
Plus, their putters have changeable weight systems. And so if a player wants a heavier putter, he can get a heavier putter. If he wants a lighter putter, he can get a lighter putter.
Okay, so Odyssey is a good one to go to. All right, I know the other day you told me that Matt was coming over to work with you for a little bit. Matt seemed very quiet this year as far as his season. I mean, it didn't seem to me anyway, and some of my friends who I've talked to, like, is Kuchar still playing? Of course he's playing, but he didn't have the kind of year that we think is typical of a Matt Kuchar.
No, he didn't have a Kuchar type of year this year. He's going through some swing changes. We talked about that. And if you'll notice, the last few tournaments he played in, he was on the leaderboard. And so I think his full swing is starting to fall into place. And then his putting. You know, he's been an arm lock putter for about 12 years.
Yeah, yeah.
He's still an arm lock putter, but he went from a left arm lock to a right arm lock. And that is just to keep the putting stroke tighter.
Okay, so when you say Matt Kuchar goes through swing changes, it seems odd to me that a guy who's been so successful on the tour is going to have a swing change and then changes his putting stance from the left hand to the right hand. But those are just things that sometimes happen over the years, isn't it?
It really does.
Okay.
You know, we're always trying to improve, no matter what the situation is. And you get to a point and you think, you know, maybe there's a better way.
Yeah.
And that's what he's going through right now. I think we're going to see a good year out of him next year.
You know, it's and there's cycles. I mean, some years you have good years and some years you don't have good years. But, you know, Matt is one of those that's been so consistent of having a good year that it just seemed very strange for his progress this year.
Yeah. Like I said, the last few tournaments, we're starting to see he's hitting more fairways, he's hitting more greens, and he's hitting it closer than he has in the earlier part of the year. So I think going into next year, I think we're going to see him really have a good year.
All right. If someone wants to get a hold of Mike Shannon, give us how they can get a hold of you. And I'm totally interested in this 7 putts to find out which putter, because, you know, when you and I were together, I brought you in a bunch of putters and you just looked at them and said, get rid of those 5, keep this one. Oh, maybe this one's, you know. So how can they get a hold of you?
Well, I'm at the PGA Tour Performance Center at TPC Sawgrass in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida.
Got it.
And we have just a top-notch performance center here. We do everything: fitting, fitness, putting, short game, full swing. So, you know, we've got something for everybody.
Well, Mike, you have always been somebody that I've looked up to, and I appreciate your info and always love having a chat with you about putting, and always make me feel like, Mike, I got to come see you.
Well, you know, the only reason you look up to him is I'm taller than you are.
I love it.
Thank you very much, and it's great to be with you.
All right, Mike, we'll do it again. Take care. Have a blessed day.
You too.
All
See
right.
you, Rich.
Mike Shannon, always a pleasure, and I always learn something new talking with him about putting. Up next, we're going to go to Savannah Golf Club and talk with their head pro, Alex Messenger, and the Savannah Golf Club. We got some history. We'll talk about that after we come back on the Back Nine Boys Golf Show. And welcome back. I'm Rich Stiles. We're glad you're with us. The Savannah Golf Club was the first golf club in the United States, founded, ready, 1794. Lots of history. And with us is their head pro, Alex Messenger. Good morning, Alex, and welcome to the Back Nine Boys Golf Show.
Good morning, Rich. Thanks so much for having us on here this morning. Super excited to have the chance to talk to you.
Well, I am excited. I was excited the other day when we kind of drove around a little bit and you showed me, and history is more than I've ever seen from any other golf club. Tell us a little bit about some of the history of the Savannah Golf Club.
Absolutely. So Savannah Golf Club has lots of history, golf obviously included, but outside of golf. So Savannah, the golf club was built on some property just east of downtown Savannah, which was fortifications in the mid-1800s for the city of Savannah. So the golf course routes through these fortifications and the mounding, and it plays an integral part in the golf course and makes a really unique feature for the course itself. And then the history of the golf club dates back to the late 1700s, so even earlier. And the golf club itself was formed in downtown Savannah, more in the tradition of a Scottish or Irish club, where you've got clubs, groups of people who play golf. They didn't necessarily have a golf course at that time. They used the squares and the grassy areas in Savannah to play. And then in the late 1800s, they built the golf club where it is now today through the fortifications. And after that, had players like Bobby Jones come through and play. So lots of great history here at the Savannah Golf Club. It's a unique history with the combination of American history and golf history.
Yeah, I mean, much more than I've seen from a lot of other clubs. And they say in your website that Savannah is also believed to be the first American city where golf was played.
Yeah, that is true. When you look at early American cities such as Savannah and Charleston, both being port cities, golf started in those cities just because you had so many immigrants from Scotland and Ireland that came over and played golf, and Savannah is definitely one of the first golf clubs, and to date the earliest golf club on record.
Which is incredible to say the least. And the berms that you were talking about, far history that were done to protect the city. Several of those are still there, which create some blind shots on the golf course.
Absolutely. We're currently going through and just reopened from a golf course renovation using Gil Hance and his team. And one of the things that Gil really enjoyed about the golf club was the use of those mounds in the features of the golf holes. And over time, many clubs will make changes to the golf course, whether it's aesthetic or playability. And the club had kind of cut through a few of those mounds for modern day golf with golf carts and things like that. So he built a few of those back up to make them even more integral and more visible, as you play the golf course.
And did you and the board feel great about having that done? I mean, as you said, sometimes designers will say, no, we got to get rid of those and make it more modern, but he wanted to leave it kind of like it was originally.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think, the Savannah Golf Club prides itself on history, and it's a great match with Gil Hance because of his historic interest in what he loves about golf history and the traditions of the game. It was a great match for us, and for him to have that eye and come in and take it back to what it originally was in a lot of ways, but also, look forward to the modern game and adjust the bunkering to fit what we need now. But still keep with the traditions of the golf course and what it was intended to play.
Yeah, when you and I were riding around, and I've always told you, I think Donald Ross golf courses, just attracts purists and people who love Donald Ross golf courses. And a lot of people associate Donald Ross with those mounded greens and a lot of other things, and up and back as far as the way he designed it. And it's really neat to have a current golf course designer who's been involved with the Olympic golf course and many others be able to go through and just kind of enhance, so to speak, with Gil Hance the golf course.
Exactly. He was able to come in and look at it from that historic perspective, studying Donald Ross and what Ross has done and how he's approached, various golf courses and his design. So he was able to make changes that he knew were historic to what Ross would do, and bring it back to the character that he had. One of the interesting things that we found in the construction process was hole number 3. I didn't know this. I've only been here 5 years, but the green was probably redone 25-ish years ago. Green number 3, the green had been built up out of the ground. It was very elevated, almost to the point where it was, too penal.
Okay.
And Gil just said, this doesn't fit the landscape. This isn't something that Ross would do. So he designed a green that fit the topography and actually set down into the hill. And when his lead shaper was out here working on the project and demoing that green, they found the original level of the green, and it was right where Gil wanted to design the green. So it was pretty cool to have that moment and see that we're taking it back to the history of where that green sat, as well as everything else.
Yeah, that's just incredible to be able to go back to see all those things. But the course has also hosted several state amateur tournaments over the many years that you've been open.
Absolutely. It's great I was happy to hear that Matt Vanderpool was going to be on this morning, because Savannah Golf Club has got such a great history with the GSGA. And
yep.
One of the 13 founding clubs, the GSGA. So we've had a great relationship over the years, and hosted the state junior championship last year, but hosted a number of state amateurs, women's state amateurs, a senior state am, and I believe Brian Harmon was the winner of the last state am here in 2005.
Yeah, it fits. I mean, that's his hometown. So when you drive around, and I know when you drove me around, you seemed excited about it, and you were, and I was excited to hear about all the history. Is that kind of cool to be able to do that with people that maybe have not played the course before? And if so, what do they say when they come off after playing their first round at Savannah Golf Club?
I'm very excited to share this place with new people, guest members. Like a lot of places over the last year and a half, we've thrived with golf, because golf has just been such a wonderful thing to have during the pandemic. And, having new members, having guests out and showcasing it has been so exciting, and talking about the project and sharing the vision of where we're going as a club has been a really exciting thing to be able to do. And seeing it come to fruition yesterday, and us being open for the first time with our new routing, we couldn't be more excited. And showcasing it to you on Wednesday, it was very apparent to me that what we've done, that what Gil's done is really going to bolster the golf course and make it a really memorable experience.
What has been the course record for playing Savannah Golf Club?
So we're 1 day in. We might have set it up a little too tough yesterday. 75 was a low score yesterday.
All right.
But I would imagine that'll keep changing as we go forward. But yeah, it was fun to see everybody out there, starting with yesterday's course record tournament. We did it from every tee. So we had ladies record, we had junior records, we had senior records,
cool.
And then our championship tee. So it was a fun day.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Now you get to erase everything that happened before. Well, not really erase, but kind of begin from a new point with the new opening of the golf course.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just another chapter in the history of Savannah Golf Club, and it's a chapter for us moving forward and continuing to grow the club and highlight our history, but also look ahead and work with Gil and his team more in the future.
Yep. All right, Alex, we got to take a quick break, but we're going to come back with more from Alex Messenger and the Savannah Golf Club. But Mizuno Golf has always had the best irons in the game. The JPX 921 series offers feel and performance to suit players of all skill levels. And they got a new STG 220 driver that offers maximum adjustability with a combination of 3 tracks and 2 movable weights. Complete your bag with the brand new T22 wedges featuring 3 finishes and 4 unique sole grinds to improve your short game, which we all need help with. Check out all that is new with Mizuno at MizunoGolf.com. Nothing feels like Mizuno. Reach beyond. Welcome back. I'm Rich Stiles. We're on the phone with Alex Messenger, the head pro at the Savannah Golf Club, the oldest club, 1794. 75 is now the new course record. Now, is that for 18, Alex?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's for 18.
Okay.
Got all 18 holes open.
Just kidding. All right. So what events do you have coming up for the rest of the year, or what's on the agenda for 2022?
Yeah, so we've got a couple of great events coming up this fall. Next weekend, we're doing an event that honors one of our former club presidents, named Bill. His name is Billy Reese. It's called the Reese Cup, and it's actually a fundraiser for First Tee Savannah that the club has done for years, supporting junior golf in the area. So we'll have that next Saturday, and then we'll have our men's and ladies club championships over these next few weeks. And then look ahead to a full schedule next year. We'll be back to normal with our tournaments. We've been closed for the last 4.5 months, so didn't really have too many events going on, and look forward to a full year next year.
All right, I got a question. I didn't talk to you about it, but I'm going to throw it out there. Do you have any idea when the course was first played, what the score was on the course?
I don't know. That's a great question. So I do know that the original layout here was only 9 holes.
Okay.
And it was a 9-hole routing, and then they laid out 18 holes in the early 1900s, and had Ross come in the 1920s to redo the green complexes. But I'm not sure what the original scores. I'd have to go back and look at the history.
It would be interesting just to kind of find out, because the equipment was way farther back than where we are now, obviously. And then Donald Ross came into the picture in the 1920s. How long did it take him to kind of do the greens and all his original stuff?
Yeah, so he was working on a couple other local golf courses, the Savannah Country Club, which at the time I believe was the Wilmington Island Club, and then Bacon Park. Both are Donald Ross golf courses originals, and he was working on those in the Savannah area, and was called over to help on our green complexes in preparation for one of the state amateurs that we were going to host in the early 1900s. So it wasn't a very long trip over. I think it was just within a couple of months that they redesigned some green complexes and were ready for the next year to be able to host that.
Alex, why is it that so many people just love Donald Ross golf courses? I mean, when I talk about it with some Raiders from Golf Week and some other folks, they just say, oh my gosh, it's an old Donald Ross course. I got to go see it. I got to go play it.
You know, I'm kind of in the same boat as you and all those other people, because I grew up on a Donald Ross myself and now work at a Donald Ross. So it's got all of the elements that I think are interesting to golf. It's playable. It's visually interesting, but it can also be difficult. And there's so many of them and so many great golf courses, ones that you see on TV, ones that you might not, but you go play and realize they're at gym as well. So it's got so much uniqueness to each routing and each golf course that I think it creates such a fan base that he's one of the greatest.
Would you say that playing Donald Ross courses that it's really a second shot layout?
I would say so, and I would say Savannah Golf Club's definitely that way.
Okay.
You know, I think of other area courses that are Donald Ross, like Brunswick Country Club's another one. A lot of second shots have to be very accurate on hitting into the greens, and Savannah Golf Club's that way because of the runoffs and the domed greens that we know had a lot of Donald Ross character to it.
Well, we're going to come up and play. I'll give you a call and we'll set up something, but give us the website so our listeners can go to it and read all about the history. And
Sure. So it's theSavannahGolfClub.com.
Simple. Alex, thank you for your time. I thank you for the tour last week. And again, we'll call you for a tee time because I want to go out and try and do some of those blind tee shots.
Absolutely, Rich. Thank you so much for your time today, and look forward to teeing it up with you soon.
All right. Alex Messenger, the head pro at the Savannah Golf Club. And as we said, it's the oldest golf club in the United States, founded in 1794, and old Donald Ross design, and just recently enhanced by Gil Hanse. So just thank you to Alex for his time. We want to thank our other guests as well, Matt Vanderpool of the Executive Director of Georgia State Golf Association, and Mike Shannon. And you for listening. Thank you. We'll see you next week's 8 to 9 Back Nine Boys Golf Show.